All right, we're on. Hello, who's coming in here? Let me type in the old chat. Move my thing. Okay, everyone. Archie Luxury Show is ending. Oh, thank you there. I am the ant subscribed. Thank you very much. Who's coming on? Anyone coming on? Come on. I'm watching the end of the Archie Luxury stream here. Archie Luxury Show ending. I'm on, and well, you people don't know a good stream when you see one. You listen to him blathering on and on and on, but people aren't jumping over here yet. Hey, we got 2 people on. Hello, thanks for coming in and joining. Type something in the chat so I can see who's here. Let me turn down the speaker from the Archie Luxury stream there. I was just waiting, and he went way over his 1 hour limit. Oh, yeah, Longshoreman, you are right. It was terrible. It was boring. Let me turn my sound up here. Okay. Are you hearing me good? We got good sound? And this guy who come on with that red crown thing, he is just blathering on and on. God, will you shut up already? And no, I don't think we ever went to the moon. It's a big government lie, scam, and conspiracy. And you know why? Because people were getting paid for it. That's why. We had to beat the Russians. That was the big thing in the 60s. Beat the Russians to the moon. And it was already the summer of 69, and we hadn't been to the moon yet, so they had to come up with something quick. So I don't think we ever went to the moon. They created a moon trip. Oh, well, you know, we just barely made our goal just in time. How about that? Well, I've had a quiet day today. It's been nice and peaceful, and we got 3 people on. Come on, someone type in the chat there. That's our only real means of communication right now, because I don't have a lot of viewers yet or subscribers. I've been looking at my Google Analytics, and it seems like maybe 60% of the people who watch my videos are subscribers. Hey, Ayad Meskin. Yeah, he was on the phone. When I got on about 30 or 40 minutes into the show, and he was just talking on the phone while he's on the camera to someone we can't hear. I mean, geez, oh man, I'm not saying I'm the best entertainer in the world, but come on. Is that what we're settling for on our Saturday evening? This is our version of entertainment? Oh, well. Yeah, Archie is lost without Clive. I may not have been watching the night. I guess they had some big argument or fight or something. Does anyone know what happened there? Just Clive just kind of faded out and went away and hasn't come on for a while? Or did they have a big screaming match on the channel? I would have liked to have seen that. I haven't watched Clive's channel hardly at all. I mean, I don't care about watches, so why watch other channels where they just talk about watches? But I invited Clive to come on my channel months ago, and he never answered back or anything. Yeah, actually, you know what, Ayad? I recently looked very briefly at a couple of Archie's good. His show just ended over here. It just finally ended. I've looked at a couple of Archie's very early videos, going back 8 or 10 years, and it seemed, reasonably well done. And then he went through the whole IT industry sucks period, and it just slowly went down. Yeah, you're right, Ayad, there. Clive came on, and it was obvious in the chat, even when I would watch it myself. The show was okay. Once Clive came on, it got a lot better. I've always enjoyed how Clive would always sneak these little comments in, like an insult to Archie, and just sneak him into the conversation. The most recent one I remember was when Archie was talking about the whole Mercedes SL cars, and Clive came up with the SLs for incels comment. What do we got so far? We got up to 6. Hey, thank you guys for coming on over here. The Archie Luxury stream finally ended. Oh, thank God. So who has a comment? Who thinks? Let's hear some more comments here about anything really. If anyone has a question for me, type it in there. Did we go to the moon or not? I don't think we did. Why haven't we gone to the moon in, 30, 40 years since then? You guys ever see the movie Apollo 18? It came out about 6 years ago, I think it was. And it was a movie about, we went back to the moon in the early 70s, a few years later. Yeah, you're right there, Eon. Clive was Archie's sidekick. I wouldn't say Clive was a sidekick so much as the main show supporter. It's like having the Three Stooges, Moe, Larry, and Curly. If you just have two of them, or one of them, that's not much. You know, three to work together. And Archie, Clive, but Archie and Clive, there you go. Now you're working. I'm on my days off this week. I'm off 6 days out of 7. I'm off work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I do have to go into work for 8 hours on Tuesday. Did I say Tuesday? I'm off Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I go in for 8 hours on Tuesday. And then next Friday comes a paycheck, but it also comes the bad week, where I have to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And feel free to type in the chat there, people. I had one comment from Longshoreman, and Ayod is holding up a stream here right now. I need some water. This is Fruition Tangerine Lime. I got a decent surge of subscribers after my last appearance on the Archie Luxury show, and it's been tapered off since then. Oh yeah, hey, you're right. Clive kept it interesting. He kept it entertaining. As I always enjoyed his comments he would throw in there constantly, and there would be times when Archie had other people on, or he would say, "Hey, this other guy wants to come on the stream," and Clive would say, "Yeah, get that guy on the stream. I'll get off. I'll get out of the way." Okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything I can show you right here. I am working on 3 videos right now. Here is the Commodore 64 computer. I just made okay, it's back. I lifted up my laptop. I have the laptop plugged in on Ethernet right now for a better connection. And when I lifted the laptop, it broke its connection there briefly. Yeah. Castle Wolfenstein, Space Taxi, and Mission Impossible are my 3 new videos I'm going to put up either tonight or tomorrow. I got the videos taped. I converted them to AVI files on my computer. And I have to run them to Windows Movie Maker and cut out pieces of the video to edit together a couple of shows. Back in the 80s, I'll tell you what, I had a problem with a lot of the games I played, because way back then, my parents actually bought us very few games. 99% of the games we got was by trading discs with friends at school and copying them. We had a program called Copy-Q, Copy-Q, and my brother and I knew how to do that. We put one disc in the drive, run the program, take it out, put the game disc in, take it out, put in the blank disc, and let it write to that. And we would always take a paper hole punch and punch out the slot, the notch on the other side of the disc 5 1/4 inch disc, and so we could write on both sides of the disc. And we never had a problem with that. IVI? What's that? AVI? AVI? What are you talking about there, Edgeen? IVI? AVI. Oh, AVI. Yeah. Audio Video Interleave. A video format that can be used in Windows Movie Maker 2.6, which dates from about 2003. I still use that for all my video editing. Yeah, we have C64. We had a C64 that we had for about 3 years straight, and the top left a bit above the keyboard would get hot after an hour or two of us playing it. We had a rule in the house. I could play for an hour, and then I had to get off. My brother could play for an hour. We'd go back and forth. We had a sister too, but she didn't play it as much. I actually made a fan out of a big 6-volt lantern battery and a little electric motor and a propeller off of a model airplane, and that would blow down on the top of the computer and get into the slots there. And that did really good to keep it cooled off. It just needed a little bit of airflow, was all it needed to cool down that big 1 megahertz processor. And we had that thing for over 3 years. Then my brother managed to spill a glass of orange juice in the thing, and it never worked right after that. My mom, I had left home and I'd gone to the military. I was in the Army, and my mom told me they tried to get it fixed a few times, and it never worked right again, so they scrapped it. Sublogic Flight Simulator 2 is one game I have the original disc for over there, and I wanted to play it, but the disc doesn't work right, so I couldn't get it to load up and play. I'd get the plane up, and I'd try to take off from the runway as slowly as I possibly could with as little throttle as I could, and it would just barely get off the runway, and I'd just go fly somewhere for a while, just going, I don't know, wherever, who cares? Then I'd get bored, and I'd just, crash the plane after that. Just put it down and vroom, and crash. And that was about all I ever played the game. 8 people. Hey, I think that's a new record. Thank you all for coming in here. We have I Am the Ant. We have Ayad Meskin. We have Ed Gein. We have someone else here whose name has scrolled up. We have Longshoreman. I think he's still on. Anyone have any questions for me, or any particular games you played on the C64 or anything like that? We had a lot of nice ones. We had Space Taxi, had Racing Destruction Set, Commando. I did a video about Commando already. I have to do one about Racing Destruction Set. My brother and I would make the craziest tracks we could and modify the vehicles all kind of different ways. Okay, let's see who could make it run like this, and who could you win with all the settings like that. And that was something we did for a long time. I think our C64 was $400 or $500 back when we got it. I'm going off your last comment here, Ayod. We had the monitor for it, and we had the 1541 disk drive. Mark Zuckerberg got into computers because of his dad, who wanted his kids to be up to date with computer tech. That's one big mistake I made that really cost me a lot of time in terms of getting good paying jobs. I played with computers for years when I was in high school. We started off with a Radio Shack TRS-80 at home, and we had the cassette player to load programs with. And I would write programs in BASIC, simple programs, nothing fancy, but it was something to do. And then we had the C64 for years. And then instead of trying to go to college or anything, I just went off to the Army for 4 years. And there wasn't much computer stuff there. And then I got out and I went to college at Penn State, and that was the internet was just barely beginning at the time. And for a couple of years, I was like, I don't need that internet stuff. And I finally started getting on the internet in 1997. And at that time, I thought, I am really late to the game. What was I thinking here the last few years not going on? And back in you load 16 discs. Yeah, the little 3.5 inch floppies. When I was in college and I was going on the computers in the computer labs, The good computers were the 350 megahertz Pentium 2 machines. All the other rest of us had to deal with a 233 or 266 megahertz machines. Yeah, you're right, Ayad. If I had done any kind of programming back then, I would be a lot better off. Because I went through my 20s with no computer work, and even some of my 30s. It wasn't until 2004 I was dealing with my own computers at home. It was 2001. I got sick and tired of going to local libraries in the local Penn State campus and having to leave at a certain time, and you couldn't look at certain websites on the computers. So finally, whatever, I'm getting a computer at home. I got a Dell Dimension 2100 computer. It had the 1.1 Intel Celeron processor, Windows XP, and 128 megabytes of RAM and a 20 gigabyte hard drive. I boosted it up to 384 megabytes of RAM right away, and I had the 56K dial-up connection. And I could not afford 2 phone lines at home, so I was always on the phone. I was always on the internet, and the phone was busy, so who knows how many job possibilities I missed out on because they would try to call me, and the phone was always busy, and they couldn't even leave a message on the answering machine. Make cartoons and zeros and ones. Yeah, the old dot matrix printers. Through the first couple of years of me having my own computer at home and dealing with viruses and getting programs to work, I learned a lot. And it was early 2004. I started making signs to advertise all around my area to go and fix people's computers. And that was a side job for many years. I did electronics work, mainly on contract assignments for various companies in the area for a long time. And I'm looking back now and I think, what was I thinking all these years not applying to companies to do computer work? Even just desktop support to fix their machines there because I'm doing it for myself. It wasn't until late 2011, early 2012. Yeah, dot matrix printers. And it would say on the box they were letter quality. Like letter as in alphabet letters or letter as in a letter you put in the mail. And they would make all kind of noise, really loud buzzing. They're really loud. Oh, if you want to be like Tim from loudmouthtim.com, you will get an HP OfficeJet 3830 printer. I've had that thing for a little over 3 years now, and it works pretty good. Did I do computer work in the Army? No, I didn't. I tell you what, the closest thing that I came to computer work in the Army with was I worked in the military intelligence battalions. And we had a couple times doing field exercises. And this is up at about 1991, 1992. We would go out in the field and set up, the communication trucks. And we would have to fax documents and maps back and forth to each other. And you'd put the paper in the fax machine, and it would spin around and make a real loud, noise as it was going, and it would read real slow across, when it was spinning the whole time. And more often than not, the transmission either wouldn't go through or it would be so messed up you couldn't read anything on it. And so you spent more time resending something 3, 4, 5 times. Things were horrible at the time. But it wasn't until late 2011, I started calling up local employment agencies for computer work. And I'd been doing PC repair work for years at this point, and I was on it. I was good at it. And getting these people to understand that, to make get any kind of a desktop support job, was very difficult. At the time, I was still completely honest with my resumes. So now, looking back, I've had to adjust the facts a little bit. Not so much the things I've done, but the things that I know that I could do. And being that I went through a lot of contract assignments, a few months here, a few months there, being the nature of the job, and I've adjusted it quite a bit. I've adjusted it so much, I don't even know the truth anymore. But hey, it's all going for the next job, the next assignment. What do they want to see? And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I knew then what I know now, oh boy, things would be different. I didn't even find out about cryptocurrencies. Here's a story for you. Who knows about Bitcoin, Litecoin, cryptocurrencies? I didn't discover it until April of 2013. I was reading a CNN Money article at work talking about a guy who had lost some money in his and he still had a bunch of money from it. And that day, Bitcoin? What's this? Cryptocurrencies? What? Money you can make on your computer? What? And it was just, that day was just so completely insane for me. Our manager wasn't there. We didn't have a lot of work to do. So I'm on my laptop. I'm typing, Google searching every kind of story I can read. Oh, tell me more. Feed me more information. What is this whole cryptocurrency thing? And you know what strikes me as odd about this? Bitcoin began in early 2009. And for years, I had had the idea in my head to go on computer message boards and write an article, write a post about how can I make money with my computers? How can I run something on my computers that will eventually pay me money? Because in the back of my head, I knew there's something there. There's some way to do this. I just didn't know what it was. And maybe if I had actually done that, somebody would have said, look at Bitcoin. That's all I needed to hear was Bitcoin. If I'd have known it then, I would have researched it. I would have found out about it, and things would have taken off. And it would surely have been better than it was. Oh boy, what can I wish for? What's this? A millionaire just fresh out of the army, and he started building and selling Unix system workstations. Yeah. For a while, in the earlier years of my home PC repair, I would offer to build gaming computers for people because I would study them and research and learn what are the important parts a gaming computer has to have. So I could build them a good system for maybe $800. If they went to Dell or HP, they might spend $2,000 for the same thing. But by that time, it was late 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's steadily people got to get better computers on their own, and they didn't need them as much anymore. I built a few gaming PCs for people. I would say, okay, what's your budget? Like $800, and I would pick out the best. What game are you going to play? And I would look up the specs for the game. Yes, when you read something in a paper or a magazine, yeah, no, that's true. The whole thing about the cryptocurrency. I mean, even looking back now, when I started in 2013, I could have done better. I had learned how to get computers mining for me. I had as many as 11 graphics cards set up in my apartment mining Litecoin. Because at the time I began in April 2003, Bitcoin difficulty went from 8 million to 10 million. And within a few weeks, it was up over 20 million, 32 million, I think it was. And I'm thinking, this is getting too hard. I'm going to go for Litecoin because Litecoin's difficulty hovered around 1,000 to 1,200. I'll mine a bunch of Litecoins. And over a few months, I accrued 205 Litecoins. And as late as Halloween 2013, Litecoins were right around $2 a piece. I thought, I got a few coins here, I'll just hang on to them. No big loss. And I had a bunch of money saved up to move back to California. If you look back to my episodes on my website, loudmouthtim.com, I think it's around episode 170 or so. The episode's dated late 2013 when I moved back to California. I had 17 grand saved up in the bank. And if I had known then what I know now, I would have taken all that money and bought a bunch of Litecoin. And in December, when the prices jumped up, Litecoin went to $48 a piece. I would have had a couple $100,000 right there. Well, we can all say that if I knew then what I know now. I fantasize about meeting some stranger somewhere and do something for them. And I say, I'll tell you what, you get one wish, you can go back in time and tell your 2009 stuff all about Bitcoin and get mining then. And if I can't go back in time, okay, let me go forward in time, like 15 years, and research the history of Bitcoin. Where were the prices? When were they low? When were they high? When can I buy? When can I sell? And make a bunch of money that way. Most people are just consumers of tech, thinking they are ahead. Yeah, that's true. For real knowledge, you need to build something. Yeah. Yeah, the people who really build the tech, they're the ones who are on the cutting edge of it. And then you get to a point where your average consumer, goes to Best Buy and whips out their credit card to buy whatever. Then yeah, they're late to the game. And they're still in it somewhat, but it's not the same. I was always at the point. What's this here? When the Raspberry Pi came out, yes, yeah, I actually have one. I have a Raspberry Pi. I think it's a Pi 3 sitting over here in a box. In late 2017, when the prices of Bitcoin were going high, I had gotten a couple of those Canaan Creative 741 ASIC miners. I had 3 of them running in my basement. I spent about $2,000 on them at the time, and maybe 2 months later, the prices of them on eBay surged up, so they were worth like $6,000. I sold them all, not quite for $6,000, but for quite a bit of money, and made a little profit on it in the process. But the controller for it was a Raspberry Pi. I had to go on my computer here and download the ISO file to put on the memory chip to run the program that controlled all 3 of the ASICs, and put that in the Pi and plug it all in and let it go, and it ran pretty good. But I sold the miners and I kept the controller for it. So maybe I want to play with a Raspberry Pi sometime. And I still think about it now. What can I do with this Raspberry Pi? That'd be a cool little computer to mess with. So I don't really have anything for it to do right now. I'm just reading up the questions here, the text. Anyone else have any questions for me? Or any tech information to contribute, or your stories about your computer work? I mean, I eventually, throughout my the last decade, I have steadily progressed, better jobs, more computer work, better paychecks, and so forth. So it's been a good last 10 years. But boy, oh boy, I think of all the years in my 20s and 30s that were wasted. Not doing computer work, doing whatever job I could get at the time. You're right about that AI. Let me pull up I have a little funny quote here on my computer that is exactly what you're talking about there. Here it is. School lessons. Things I haven't learned in high school. How to pay bills. How to buy a house. How to buy a car. How to apply for loans for college. But thank Jesus I can graph a polynomial function. Yeah, exactly. School these days, they don't teach you anything useful. How to, get the right kind of education and get a decent job and get yourself off to a good start in life. I was on YouTube just today, and I was searching for a few videos about these big Amazon warehouses and how much they abuse their workers. They might get a halfway decent paycheck, but they totally work them to death. You must do this many things per hour. You have no time to go to the bathroom or lunch or anything. And there was a guy on there, said he was 34 years old, and he had a degree from college in, get this, French literature. And I was thinking, you idiot. What kind of job are you going to get that pays you any kind of money in French literature? Oh, I see people all the time. I hear about people who go to school, they're going to college. Oh, I'm going to go to college for humanities or social workers or this or that. I've looked at various articles online. I've watched some of the Dave Ramsey videos, all his financial information. And I've found some other videos. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right there, Aeon. Amazon, that's just they're working their workers to death. high volume, hurry up, faster, faster, more and more, now. Hurry up, you gotta go faster. We gotta make money. The whole place is gonna go bankrupt if you don't kill yourself working to death. That's how it is. They get some money, they get greedy. They want to get more and more and more and more and more. Hurry up, more and more, faster, faster. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, college degrees. There, I found a YouTube video from a guy. He actually had a list of degrees that make money and degrees that don't make money. And if you're going to go to college, and nowadays I think for certain career paths you have to have college, like doctors and lawyers and MBAs for business and like that. But a lot of the things you want to do, you don't need college. I had a 2-year business degree when I graduated, and there were so many useless classes I had to take while I was in college. I had to take up to college algebra 1. And I knew right from the start, I am never going to use this in the real world. And of course, I was right about that. But I had this mindset in my head, and I could not learn that know-how. I had to take the class 5 times to get a D-. And that was just with telling the teacher about it and, give me some extra work to do, just D- me through this thing and get me through this college requirement so I can get out of here. That put me back at least a semester from graduating. And then I was just under the GPA I had to have to graduate. So I had to take like a gym class and a theater class and some other stupid class. And I told those teachers right up front, why am I even in this class? And I ended up just getting A's in each class to bump up the GPA so I could graduate later than I should have. And ultimately, it was a waste of time. I have a college degree, but have I ever gotten a job at anything I studied? No, not even close. French literature is very useful. Well, I guess if you have to have a college degree to then go on to your MBA, then yeah, I guess it's okay for that. The best hedge fund managers and stock traders in London started doing just humanities or a language at Oxford or Cambridge. Yeah, I guess if you start with a degree in something and then you build on that to go into finance or something else, maybe it's fine. But I can't just see you get some people get a degree in English. Yeah, for certain career paths that may be good, but a lot of other ones it doesn't work out so well. If I had to do over again, would I have gone to college? I probably would have. But boy, I would have gone full computer tech instead of wasting my time in business classes. Bowser, hey, thanks for coming on in. How you doing there? Bowser, I do have a question for you. This little logo you have here, it looks like a turtle wearing a hat. Did you draw that picture, or is that a picture from a cartoon or something? I've wondered about that for a while. Well, once again, I don't want to be like Archie and repeat myself 17 times. Oh, you found that picture online? Okay. I thought maybe like you were in high school and you drew that picture, and then you started using it as your little icon here on YouTube. He studied Russian at Cambridge, and they got him a job at a big bank in London, and they trained him to do the rest. I think a lot of jobs, they want you to have a degree, and it's less important what kind of a degree it is. It's a turtle dragon, someone made with Microsoft Paint. Yeah. I'm no good at art. I couldn't even make a picture that good. I can make stick figures. There is a YouTube channel, Sam O'Nella Academy. Sam O''Nella. And he has a lot of interesting stories on there. And he has a stick figure that is his animation. The stick figure has like a full head of shaggy brown hair down to here. And it makes it a lot more interesting. Would I invent Bitcoin? Well, I've looked into how it was created and all the programming, and I could never be the one to invent it. But boy, oh boy, would I love to be one of the first original miners and stock up on it. I missed out so big. I made a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there on the highs and lows of the market, yeah. But overall, gee, it just kills me to think about how much I could have had if only I had known. And as late as 2013, the summer of 2013, I was mining Bitcoin, and I was mining Litecoin. I was in the Bitcoin forums, and the price had bumped up over $100, and it came down to like 50, and it went up to 70. And at the time, everyone was like, it's not even ever going to get to $200. And you had no reason to think it would. But by a month and a half later, into December, it was 800. China started getting interested in it. And the whole Chinese market's coming in. They got all excited with it. And it bumped up to $1,200. And at the time, I wasn't even using the exchanges that much. I had gone on the forums, tenants, my rental tenants. So far, everyone's been doing pretty well for me here. I have 4 rental units right now, and I have 5, and 4 are occupied, and a 5th one is going to be coming in soon. Everyone wants to be rich, but nobody wants to work for it. Well, it was a whole lot of guesswork. Even in late 2013, who would have thought Bitcoin was going to go way up? And Litecoin went up to $48. And then over the next few months, it just slowly dribbled down in price. $30, $25, $22, $20. And I was just like, yeah, look at that. Okay, Litecoin's done. It's over with. Litecoin went back down to $2 and even $1 for a couple of years, 2015, 2016. And I'm thinking back now, and I'm thinking, why didn't I just buy some and park it somewhere in case prices went up again? Why didn't I think of this? Yeah. And even, I was learning more about the cryptocurrencies, and it was quiet for a few years there until 2017 came. At the beginning of 2017, I was determined to go on a vacation back out to LA. And that video is on my website, loudmouthtim.com. Early 20s, I forget the episode number, but early 2017, I went back to LA for a vacation. Cost me $1,700. And early that year, like January, February, Litecoin was around $2, $3, $4. It went up to around $10 or $12. And it's just slowly kept going up. I'm like, okay, it's popping a little bit, but it ain't going to go much higher. $10, okay, but it ain't going to go much higher than that. $12, okay, now it's really gone up high. It ain't going to go much higher than that. And all throughout the year, it's going to go up. Okay, now it's really topped out. This is it. You buy it now, you're crazy because it's not going to go up any higher than this. And I went through that several times throughout the year. Oh, man. Why didn't I buy a bunch when it was like $1 or $2? I'd already seen it pop once. What was I thinking? But if I'd taken the $1,700 from that vacation and just bought some Litecoins, even at $10 a piece, I could have held them to the end of the year, sold them for around $350 to $370 a piece. It's hot in this room. My face looks all right, but I feel hot in this room. Oh, well, anyhow, I'm not going to drag it out too long like Archie does. And I'll say thanks to everyone for coming on the show here and hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm going to log off here pretty soon. I have 3 videos to make, but it's already 9:30 here, so it's not going to get done tonight. I'll start cutting them together and making the first couple episodes, getting ready to upload. Take a break for a while. I'll have to put on my channel when I'm going to do a stream again. I think it's probably best to time it when Archie does his, because people are already on then. 5 people watching, which is, for me, it's okay. Yeah, are you willing to spend a decade of your life on something that may go nowhere, or someone else might beat you to it? Yeah, Bezos, Gates, yeah, not knowing, yeah. Hey, how about Tesla? Tesla had hard times for years, and it wasn't until this last year or so that things really started to pull up, and okay, now we're really seriously starting to get better here. The last 2 financial quarters have been really good, and they're getting a lot more. They have like $6 billion cash on hand right now, and they're building more of these big factories. You see what happened in China. They built their entire factory within a year. They went from a muddy field to making cars in less than a year over in China. And now they're going to build a new factory in Germany. And that one might take a little bit longer, but it's going to be a big one and do more. So they're starting to really crank. And ever watch Jim Cramer on Mad Money? He's been talking about Tesla lately here, and GM, Ford, big automakers are talking more and more about they're going to go to electric cars. So you compare it now to 5 years from now, it's going to be quite a change. I know I just read yesterday, UPS placed an order for 10,000 electric delivery trucks from some company over in England, I think it was. I don't know about that, Ayod. BMW, Mercedes, they may work on it, but they are way behind the curve. Even though they can use Tesla's patents because they're open source, they don't have the tech. And they are going to keep trying to modify gasoline cars into electric cars. They aren't going to make the real commitment that Tesla did to make a car that is designed from the ground up to be pure electric. And that's what Tesla did, and they got it right, and things work out really well. Yeah, you're right, Ayot. I remember seeing about that Jim Cramer, Bear Stearns video. I've watched that a few times. Yeah, he really blew that one. I don't take all my information from one source. Jim Cramer, Dave Ramsey, a lot of my own research. I'll collect a bunch of information, and I'll put it together, and I'll think about it myself. Do you know how much BMW spends on research? Well, yeah, but they're not researching electric cars, and if they are, they're not doing it enough. Tesla. Here's another benefit of Tesla: vertical integration. This whole thing with the Boeing 737 Max, they get a bunch of Indian programmers over there working for 10, 15 bucks an hour, and they make the programming for each individual part, and it's different people, and nothing works right together, and they have these kind of problems. Tesla programming, it's all in-house. They do it themselves. Each piece of software is written for that particular piece of hardware, and that's why their stuff works so well. They don't screw around with that. That's the first mistake every other manufacturer is going to make. They're going to try to outsource everything and get a whole bunch of suppliers to make all the parts for them, and they just put them all together in their factory. And it ain't going to work like that. Nah. What about this Mercedes EQC SUV? They have failed pretty hard with that one there. The sales are way below what they even thought it would be. Germany has all the good engineers and stuff, but I've read a lot about you do not want to have a German car out of warranty because they get real expensive to fix. Well, you look at where Tesla started and where they are now, things are starting to go pretty good for them. They are the ones to beat, and no one is even close right now. I always laugh when I hear these articles about, this car is going to be the new Tesla killer, and then it isn't. This Porsche, Porsche Taycan is supposed to be great, and its efficiency is way worse. Its mileage ratings aren't even close to what Tesla gets. So, it's good that things are going in that direction. I've never been an environmentalist. I'm not one of those tree-hugging freaks who thinks we have to save the world. But you know what I know? I've driven 41,000 miles in my Model 3, not paying for any gasoline, not paying for any gas taxes, and Big Oil's not getting my money. Paying for my electric at home is a whole lot cheaper. And really what's going to drive the adoption of EVs is the business side of it. Once companies realize that buying gasoline and making gas-powered cars is not as profitable anymore, they're going to go where the money is. And the more they go that way, the more it's going to be profitable. And so the economics of it all is going to change it. It's, the Chinese, I don't know what they're doing. The Chinese copy and steal and infringe on patents all over the place. They aren't creating anything themselves. They're stealing other people's technology. That's what China does. That's all they're good for. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chinese try to pull something like that, because that's what they do. Tesla supposedly wholly owns their factory, but China's going to have some plan. Say, oh yeah, well in 3 years under this thing and this thing, we can still take over, and we want access to all your software so we can approve it. Tesla doesn't need China's approval, because Tesla's the one making this stuff, and we can see how well it works. I will not be surprised at all China tries to pull something like that, and some random Chinese company comes up with a car that looks amazingly like a Tesla, same kind of software and everything. Yeah, I won't be surprised when that happens. Well, we'll see how it goes. All right, we're 46 minutes here, and I'm going to get off here. Thanks, everyone, for coming on over and hanging out for a little while. That Archie lecture show tonight, it was boring. It was driving me crazy how boring it was. All right, I'm going to hit end broadcast here. We'll see us all later on. And if you haven't subscribed, please do it already. I'd like to get as many of my viewers who watch my videos as subscribers, so we can manipulate the whole system here, the YouTube algorithm, and get my views up and my watch minutes up and the subscriber count up. Yeah, they might be. German Audi is producing and selling in China. Well, it all comes down to efficiency. How much does a car cost? How much do you have to pay to drive this car versus that car? Which one do you like better? Which one has a better reputation? Which one's going to run better longer? The economics will work itself out. But I think, electric cars are on the way in and oil is on the way out. I'm not saying oil is going to disappear entirely. There's always been a need for oil somewhere in some capacity. But the days of pure big oil are pretty much over. And if it's not obvious now, then within 5 years it will be. All right, I'm going to get going here. We're at 47 and a half minutes. We got 6 viewers on. Thanks, everyone, for coming on in. So we'll see you later on. I hit end broadcast the first time. This window pops up, and I have to hit end broadcast a second time. All right, bye.